Greetings, I am Herbert Erpaderp, and it's once again time for Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, and a festive holiday edition of Ask a Herbert Erpaderp at that. Well, maybe not that festive, but there is some zombie murder happening in the background, and you can't tell me that's not festive. Well, you can, but you would be wrong. Dead wrong. So this is going to be the final Ask a Herbert Erpaderp for the year. Not my final video, but the last Ask a Herbert Erpaderp anyway. I think I've done pretty well. I missed far fewer episodes than last year, and I've only pushed a couple back a week or so. One of my goals for the year was to be more consistent with Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, so hooray for that, I guess. I'm not really a big fan of Christmas, so I'm not going to be all jingle bells or whatever, but I do hope you all have an excellent holiday and end of year time, whether you go all out and cover your house in decorations, or you just like to have a quiet time with friends or family, or even if you prefer to do nothing. Sometimes doing nothing rules. Personally, I can't wait until the holidays are over and shopping centres become less horrendous. There will be a sort of Christmas video soon, the Christmas Groot build that is currently happening on my Discord server. At this point there is very little time left to enter, but I should be able to get the video with all of the entries done by Christmas, so look forward to that. Okay, enough waffling about Christmas, let's get to the questions. Ahmed Jerboa says, should man vs horse become an Olympic sport? Only if it's unarmed man vs horse. I mean, a man with no weapons, he can have his arms. Otherwise it would just be needless slaughtering of horses. I would be cheering for the horse no matter what though. It probably shouldn't really be an Olympic sport. Vrokali says, vodka or gin? Neither really. I don't drink much at all nowadays, and neither of those was ever a favourite. If I'm being forced, I think I would choose vodka. My gin drinking experience is admittedly not vast, but I've never tried a gin that I really liked. When you're drinking to get drunk though, that doesn't matter so much. So the answer is vodka. Monol said, Connery or Brosnan? Connery, if only for that fantastic accent, which I can't do very well at all, clearly. Skeletor said, Leopard MBT or Abrams MBT? I will go for Leopard. I would also choose Leopard, and I'm assuming that you mean Leopard 2, though I would choose Leopard 1 as well. The main reason for that choice is appearance. I just think the leopards look a bit more interesting. Head of Secret Science Boys said, paper or plastic? I guess it depends on what it's being used for. For models, I would like them to be made of plastic. For bags, which I think is the intent of the question here, paper. Though for strength I do want something stronger, like canvas or whatever, but paper is much better when disgusting humans throw their bags on the ground. Sneaky Zaku said, with Halo Reach now on PC, and to be followed by other games in the saga, what are your thoughts on the Halo games? I think I was asked this fairly recently, though I could be imagining it, so I'll answer anyway. I mostly feel indifferent. I did play a fair bit of Halo on whichever console it was on back in the day, and the multiplayer was a lot of fun. I did play a small amount of the missions on at least one Halo game, but it never really grabbed me. It just seemed like every other go here and shoot these guys game. I think it's cool that you can play it on PC, but I'm not super interested. Not enough to pay money anyway. A duck drinking cough syrup said, when was the glorious country of Derptopia established? It was never established. Derptopia has existed since time began. Before that, in fact. Derptopia has never not existed. Glory to Derptopia. The Tourette's Gamer said, what do you want for Christmas? The most useful thing would be money, really. I can't think of anything specific that I would like to receive. I mean, there are lots of things that I want, but pretty much all of them are unreasonable to want or expect as Christmas gifts, if that makes sense. I would say the best gifts are the kind where somebody has spent time and really thought about you and what you might like. It doesn't even matter what the gift is in that case. I mean, you get one gift and it might be like a scratch-off lotto ticket thing, whatever they're called where you live, scratchies here, which is pretty much a no-thought gift. And you put that next to something that a person has put some consideration and effort into, and I know which one I would feel better about receiving. That sounds a bit ungrateful, I guess, but I think you know what I mean. At this point I'm just waffling because I don't know what I want for Christmas. Like I said earlier, Christmas isn't really a thing I'm that into. I just want to spend time with people I care about. Completed Chief 9 said, "What is your opinion on the Deutsche Afrika Korps? And have you ever bought the infantry kit for them from Warlord Games?" I don't know a whole lot about them really. I'm sure they were very shooty, and I understand from various books that they probably had a pretty frustrating time with things like supplies, and having to do things like fighting when they had no chance to win instead of retreating for a better chance at victory later. But to be honest, they seem like yet another force from World War II. Still interesting, but nothing really jumps out at me. A while ago, when Warlord had one of their sprue sales, I was either thinking about or actually did get some Afrika Korps infantry, but because I'm old and crap, I don't remember. They might have been the item that I was annoyed at being out of stock. That order is still in a box somewhere and it's in the hot part of the house, and I'm lazy, so I'll check another day. At any rate, they are figures I'm interested in getting, if I don't already have them, and I do plan to build some Warlord infantry on stream sometime soon too. It might not be Afrika Korps figures, but it'll be something. Martin Gotham said, "What modelling technique have you mastered?" I don't think I've mastered anything, modelling technique or not. To be honest, I would feel a bit gross if I were to go around telling people that I was a master at something, like airbrushing or whatever. That's not to say there aren't things that I'm good at. I do consider myself a pretty competent painter, but there's always things to learn and try. I'm pretty sure that's the case for even the best painters. I don't know about anybody else, but when I see somebody going around being all like, "I'm a master at this," I think, what a twat. In the comment section of last fortnight's Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, Yantima said, "Is there anything more boxy than a boxer?" I don't know. A double boxer? That would be twice the boxerness. It's also not a thing I just made up, it's totally real, I assume. Sparetime 24/7 said, "What is your opinion on S-Model?" I think they're quite good and reasonably priced. I have built a couple of their kits and they've been pretty consistent with their quality. They've all got photo etch parts, which can be good or bad. There was a French tank, I think it was the H-35, on which the photo etch parts just seemed like they were there just for the sake of having photo etch, which was a little bit annoying and didn't really serve a whole lot of purpose. Though I do still like that model. The hobby shop that had a pile of these kits no longer seems to have it, and I think I probably bought most of them anyway. Unfortunately, it's been a while and it doesn't seem like they're going to restock them, which makes me a bit sad, but I do still hope they'll get more someday, at which point I'll probably feel obliged to buy them all. So I guess you could say that I think they're pretty good. Rock Strongo said, critiques suick, and don't even pick the best model, like group bold, who even wins? And what does video games have to do with models? It's a shame you've got such a cool name. Who doesn't like a good Simpsons reference? That said, it doesn't seem like you were overburdened with an abundance of schooling. I'm not really sure where you think you're seeing critiques. I don't do them in Ask a Herbert Erpaderp or group build videos. In fact, I don't really do them at all. I don't have the energy or inclination, and I would rather do no critiques than half-assed ones. Also, not everybody wants critique. Some people just want to share what they've done. Furthermore, some people have no idea what critique is or how to do it, and their version of it is something like, "Do this thing, the model needs blank," and then get all pissy when the modeler doesn't follow their instructions. Of course, people are free to offer critique, and it can be very helpful, and if you want your work critiqued, you should definitely ask for it. I've seen some people who dump their photos, don't say anything, and then get all butt blasted when there's no critique. If you are really looking for critique, my videos and Discord aren't really the place. But I do understand that there are multiple groups on Facebook and places like that, and probably Discord too, that are specifically about critiquing models. Maybe you should try find some. As to winners and picking a best model or whatever, there is no winner if there isn't a competition, and neither Ask a Herbert Erpaderp or the group build is a competition. Life in general is already overly competitive and exhausting, and I don't want my hobby to also be a competition. I find that tiresome and really uninteresting. It's the same with video games actually. Everything is hyper competitive, and I just find it really uninteresting. I know there are plenty of people who don't agree, but they aren't the ones making these videos, and it's not their Discord hosting the group build. There are plenty of places out there for competition anyway. Anybody is free to partake in those. I'm not going to get upset if you do things elsewhere, and I'm sure they're a lot of fun for those who are into them. As to what video games have to do with models, well, nothing really, other than the fact that some people like video games and models. Most people have more than one singular interest. I don't know you from a bar of soap, but I suspect you might be one of those people who are obsessed with modelling and have no other interests. So maybe you wouldn't understand. At any rate, in Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, I like to try and have something with at least a little bit of visual interest in the background. That was a little bit longer and more ranty than I had initially planned, but it does kind of segue nicely into the part of Ask a Herbert Erpaderp where we look at some of the models shared by the community. As always, I don't think I really need to say it, but apparently I do. It's not a competition, and not everything has been shared. If you do want to see everything and maybe share some of your own work, that'd be cool. Check out my Discord server, the link for which is in the description. You should easily be able to find the modelling section. Also, feel free to check out the other sections. Anyway, on to the models. First up, Sunny Deezy says everybody say hello to Vitman, while sharing this tiger with a figure chilling out on the turret, who I presume to be Michael Vitman. This is a Warlord tiger in 28mm scale that Sunny Deezy has made for his dad. This is really nice, and I'm sure your dad is going to appreciate it quite a lot. Nice job. Illusion IL2 Sturmovik shared this German mechanized company which they have recently finished. These are in 15mm scale, though I can't tell which manufacturer the half-tracks come from. Either way, they look great, and I like that they aren't all exactly the same. Some of them have a spotty camo scheme, a couple of them don't, and the ones with the 75mm guns have had bushes added, so they can be sneaky hidey boys. Variety does keep things interesting, but they do still look like a coherent unit. The antennas for the command vehicle were scratch-built from wire and plastic. I do like seeing people scratch-build stuff to get what they want. Awesome work. Colonel Paul Do Not Even Try Gamma shared this T-34. From his previous work, I'm not surprised that this looks really nice. And I quite like the logs, which I assume are not included in the kit. Paul mentions that even though this model is from 1975, the fit was very good and it was a joy to build. Having recently built some ancient Tamiya stuff myself, I'm not surprised. Much better than ancient models from some other manufacturers. At any rate, this is fantastic work, as I'm sure you'll agree. Trekan Beluvic shared this 1500 weight truck. I do still read that in my head as 15 quid. Is that silly? Course it's not. The model is a Plastic Soldier Company 15mm scale kit. The cab of these trucks is a little bit ugly, at least in my opinion, but this is clearly a well done model. It's been painted up as part of the Armoured Guards division, and Trekan is planning to use it as a British objective. Very well done. Wolf, or Wolfie, I don't know which, has shared this Panzer IV, which is the first bolt-action tank that they've ever painted. And it is a very good looking tank. I quite like the dust effect at the lower half. That is very well done. I do hope this is the first of many tanks that we get to see from you. Car Salad, which is an interesting name, is new on the server and has shared a couple of their finished projects. This Panzer, which looks like it's suffered a bit of a defeat, and this Panther, which seems to have been smashing through some brick walls. I mean, if I had a Panther I'd probably do that too. Car Salad says they do try to put some character into these 15mm scale Battlefront models, and I would say that they have certainly succeeded. Monol has completed this Marder, the more modern Marder. If I'm honest, I think the World War II Marder is a bit cooler, but this is a fantastic model nonetheless. I'm not sure, but I suspect this is the 15mm scale Marder for Team Yankee. I quite like the blue colour in the vision devices. That adds a lot of interest. Excellent work as usual. Space Monkey has shared a Star War. These are Legion Shore Troopers that Space Monkey has recently completed. They've been unleashed in the garden and are now running amok with what looks to be a launcher of some sort. These models look really good, and they kind of make me want to do some Star Wars models of my own. Costas has shared some pictures of their current work in progress, which is the Iron Maiden 747 from the Book of Souls tour. I recently saw some babies whining about this kind of plane kit. I guess they probably just don't like awesome music. Iron Maiden are amazing, and this model has got me excited about seeing them next year. I mean, I was already excited, but this brings it right back to the front of my mind again. Also, it's some very nice looking work, and the model looks like it must be huge. Fantastic. And here's a 15mm scale Panzer III from Name Redacted, which looks pretty damn good. Somebody mentioned that it looks like it has not only been fighting the enemy, but the desert too, and I'm inclined to agree. It's very well painted. The stowage that you've added, or I assume you've added, adds a lot of interest as well. Keep up the amazing work. And that's it for this Ask a Herbert Erpaderp. The next Ask a Herbert Erpaderp will be in the first couple of days of 2020. 2020 sounds so futuristic. These are the years all of those apocalyptic movies from when I was a kid were set in, and they're all turning out to be true. Anyway, I'll see you next year, or before next year if you watch my streams or my other videos. And I probably won't actually see you, but you know what I mean. Thank you all for sharing your models, asking questions, and of course watching this video. Go and watch some of my other videos, check the links in the description, and be excellent to each other. Farewell.